holding tight, can you see it? Streaming the truth live from where they decree it. Sylvia speaks, no filter, no buffer. Courtroom drama couldn't get any tougher.
When the gavel's first bang, to the witness turns tears. Sylvia's lens captures all your hopes and fears. Uploading justice one trial at a time. Tuning every moment, edges sublime.
Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show. Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show. Faces tell stories, the courtroom can't hide. Sylvia's insights cut through the divide. From jury talks to the lawyer's secret. In Sylvia's world, you know you'll need it. Behind the scenes where whispers are loud, her lens reveals the truth in the crowd. Courtroom secrets laid bare to see. Stay curious with Sylvia Spree. Every objection, every sharp retort, Sylvia's there to give you the report. Exclusive footage no one else can snag. From catchy headlines straight to the tag. Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show. Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show.
Faces tell.
All right, here I go. I'm going to say hello to Pretty Chick, Serena, Rosie, Patricia, Ronnie, Bonnie, Naughty Lynn, Blessed. All right, that's it. I don't see my name on your thing, and then I'll go like you guys. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna do like y'all. Hey, everybody. All right. So, guys, I'm here to bring you guys the police arrest report for Mr. Torrance Taylor. Yesterday, when I was looking for his case, I didn't know his last name was Taylor. I thought it was Hatch, like his father. Hey, Alicia. Oh, hey, Miss Richards. She talking about Petty Betty. I told y'all. Only people I'm speaking to by name is the one that put my name in there. If you don't put my name, I ain't speaking. I'm gonna just say, hey, everybody, to those that. She calling me, hey, Petty Betty. I'm Petty Betty. All right, let me go ahead on, guys, because I am getting ready to go to my barber's house because my barber cooked some dinner for me. So I'm going to go get some tender victuals. I'm going to get some tender victuals so he cooked for me. My barber always used to cook for me all the time. That's why I used to get my hair cut. Hey, Miss Plant Lady. Hey, Lady Leo. So I'm going to go get me some food. I don't know what else I might get over there. I don't know, y'all. I'll give me some food. All right, let me go ahead on and do this. I'm going to get me some food. All right. Let me see if they have any addresses in here that I need to any personal identification stuff that I need to retract. I got his date of birth. Okay, I can't show it because it got his date of birth, so I cannot show his date of birth, y'all. So, but you guys know I have the report. I'm going to just show it a slight second, first second. I'm just going to show the top part. All right, let me show y'all. So y'all know I have the arrest report. Hold on. So you guys can see. You see right here? I do have the arrest report. See? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing it. I'm just going to read it off. I'm just going to read it off so you guys can know what actually happened, okay? All right? Miss Richard, stop being fresh, Miss Richard. Miss Richard's being fresh. You see what she said? I might get an eggplant. Miss Richard's being fresh. You think the Fed's going to come and get him for this? All right, let's go ahead on. It says, personally came Joseph Thurmond, which is the officer. And it says, who on oath says that the best of his or her knowledge and belief, Torrance Taylor, hereafter the accused, and it says where they was at on between 9/3/2025 and 5/20 and 9/3/2025, 6 p.m. at whatever this address is, Bishop Street, in the county, Fulton County. Oh my God, these people keep texting me. What is going on here? What's up? What's up with this? What's up? What's up, people? What's up? What's up? Hold on a second. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. It says probable cause. Okay, let me go back up there. It says did commit the offense of possession of a sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle. This is the oars, and not all of them are the same. Sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle, machine gun, dangerous weapon, or silencer. These are or, so we don't know exactly which one until we read exactly what he's being charged with. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry, guys. Hold on. I apologize. Somebody is sending me some message, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. All right. Sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifles, machine gun, dangerous weapon, or silencer. Felony count 1, 16-11-123. In that said, accused did have in his possession a machine gun. So it's a machine gun, y'all. Said, and this deponent makes this affidavit that a warrant may be issued for his or her arrest. On September 3rd, 2025, at approximately 5:20 p.m., I, Officer J. Thurman, Unit 3286, was in the area of Bishop Street and Casson Street when I was notified by officers working in an undercover capacity that a large group of males were standing around a red GMC truck. The undercover officer reported the males were actively in possession of marijuana as they prepared a blunt. Upon entering the area with additional crime suppression unit officer, we observed a red GMC truck backed into a parking spot on the side of Bishop Street across from 485 Bishop Street. Multiple males were seen standing around the passenger side of the vehicle, and upon observing officer presence, they began moving back towards the rear of the vehicle. I, along with Officer N. Smith and Officer Musfar, exited our vehicle and gave verbal command to the individual to come towards us. As we approached the front of the GMC, one male fled on foot across Bishop Street into the adjacent property. A foot pursuit was initiated, during which the male was seen clutching in his front waistband as he ran. Verbal commands were given to stop. During the chase, I observed a black magazine fall from the suspect's waistband to the ground. The magazine appeared to contain live rounds. The suspect was also observed discarding a firearm in the woods behind the rear building of the property before turning back around, at which point he was successfully detained. Okay? The firearm was received by Officer N. Smith and was identified as a black Glock 45, serial number CENC430, and the male suspect was identified as Torrance Taylor, and it gave his date of birth and everything. Examination of the firearm revealed alterations to the rear of the slide. Suspect to be a fully automatic conversion. Oh, they converted that rifle, that ammunition, that, I'm trying to say not the word GUN. I'm trying to figure out a word to say. Okay. It was fully automatic conversion. The magazine was unable to be recovered as a bystander was suspected to have recovered it before units were able to. A GCIC/ACIC check of the firearm showed that no record was found. Mr. Taylor was found to have no prior felony convictions. While this was occurring, undercover units with assistance of the Atlanta Police Department, the Police Aviation Unit, maintained visual surveillance of the red GMC truck. An additional male was seen fleeing from the location during the foot pursuit. The GMC eventually circled back to the area, at which point a traffic stop was conducted. The driver was identified as Quinn Minor, and the front passenger was Taylon Martin. I couldn't see, they have a line there. Taylon Martin. Both males were detained. A strong odor of marijuana was detected coming from the interior of the vehicle. Another male who had fled the scene was located at 500 Bishop Street and identified as Taylon Murray. Mr. Murray was placed into custody for obstruction. A search of a person revealed a red pharmaceutical bottle in his pants pocket containing residue of suspected promethazine with codeine. I don't know what that is. A search of the red GMC was conducted. In the front passenger area, officer located a pineapple Fanta bottle weighing 122 grams, which contained a red liquid suspected to be promethazine with codeine. I don't know what that is, y'all. In the rear passenger compartment, officer located a smart water bottle weighing 185 grams, which contained a red liquid suspected to be the promethazine with codeine. Additionally, zero point 0.5 grams of marijuana was recovered from the rear passenger compartment. The firearm suspected narcotics and marijuana was collected as evidence. The GMC was released to a licensed driver identified as LaPrice Dade. And that's it, y'all. So that is what happened. Look at this. They gave him the car back, right? They gave a car to somebody who had a license. Okay, there's something else. Okay. Okay, there's some more. There's another part of it. Okay, hold on. There's another part, y'all. On September 3rd, 2025, at approximately 5:20, Officer Jay Thurman was in the area of Bishop Street in Casson. I noticed. Oh, this is the same thing, right? Oh, did they say they was preparing a blunt on the other one? Let me see. Oh yeah, I did say they was preparing a blunt. It's the same thing. It's for the second part, the part where they gave him a misdemeanor for obstruction. It says enforce law. It says willfully obstruction of law enforcement officer misdemeanor, count 1. So he got 2 counts. Count for the machine gun, and then count for the you said promethazine. Okay, thank you, Keisha. You know me, I'd be lazy. I'm gonna be trying to enunciate these words, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hold on a second. Hey, I'm live. Can I call you back? All right. Sorry about that, y'all. But that's it for that one. Okay. And his bond, let me tell you guys, he did get bond. And his bond amount, let me give it to you. I think it's $15,500. Hold on a second, because I took a picture of that. Hold on. I took a picture for you guys so I can know exactly the amount of his bond. Okay. This is what they gave him, as it says here, that you have a right to be silent. Anything that you say will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, I will appoint an attorney for you at no cost to you or your family. The court found that probable cause exists to detain the defendant to the crime incumbent the above reference. This thing is hard for me to read. That's why I'm having a hard time. And not because I can't read. I just can't see it too well. Because, I screenshot it and my thing is kind of messed up. All right. It says here that the court found probable cause. Okay, let's go back to now. It says the bond is issued or was argued by counsel. And it says the court set a total bond amount of $15,500 good bond. The defendant was served an open court with the state petition to revoke the defendant's existing probation, and warrant for the defendant's arrest was signed. Attorney is Adams, who's okay. They gave the phone number for Attorney Adams, was appointed to represent. The court gave him an attorney. The defendant's case will be placed. Pre-indictment is on. He has another court date. It's going to be September 26, 2025. I should be there. All right. And it's going to be in room 2B. That's on the 26th, 9 a.m. Okay. So that is it for that. Anybody have any question? And he does have a prior, but it's a misdemeanor. He had a less than announced marijuana charge, which he has to go to court on the 22nd for that. So he's going to court on the 22nd. Sorry about that. You got to go to court on the 22nd, and then he's going to court on the 26th for this case. Okay? And it was two other individuals that was arrested with him. There's two the Talon guy and Talon Murray and Talon. Hold on, let me give you the name of the other guy. It was 3 persons in not indictments. Now they haven't been indicted yet, but one is hold on, his name is Talon Murray, and then the other one is Talon Martin. Got it? Talon, Lon, Martin, and then Talon with the A-N, Murray. So Talon and Talon was arrested with Torrance. So the 3 of them got arrested. Let me tell you what Talon is arrested for. Talon with the O, he's arrested for possession of a Schedule V substance, and he has 1 charge, right? The other guy, Talon, he's charged with willful obstruction of law enforcement, that's misdemeanor, and then also possession of a Schedule V controlled substance. So that's what he was charged with. And then Torrance, of course, you already know who that is. He's charged with possession of a sawed-off shotgun / remember, it's this machine gun that's switched to a machine gun. That's what it is. It's not the sawed-off. They just put it all into one category. But when we read it off here, they said that the switch, hold on, let me go back to here. It says that it was suspected to be fully automatic. So it says the rear slide. So I guess there's a rear slide that was on the actual and the GUN, and they saying that it was changed over to an automatic and to so it could do more ammunition at one time. So that's what it said. Okay. Anybody have any question? Anybody have any question? Wonder how he ended up with a switch charge. Was it on him? Yeah, it dropped. According to this, remember it said, okay, you wasn't here when I read it, Keisha? You wasn't here when I read it? It says a firearm was recovered by Officer N. Smith and was identified as a black Glock 45, serial number CENC 430. The male suspect was identified as Terrence Taylor. Examination of the firearm revealed alterations to the rear of the slide. It was altered at the rear of the slide, and suspect to be a fully automatic conversion. So they converted to an automatic because there was something added on there. I don't know nothing about it, but that's what they say on here. It was on him. It dropped on him. It was on him. You said you thought it was in the back seat? No, it says it dropped from him. Okay, are you not listening? Are you guys not listening? Are you guys not listening to it? It says, remember there was another ammunition thing that was thrown into the bushes, right? And there was one that dropped from the person. Now you, Keisha, I'm talking to Miss Jam because Miss Jam is saying, wow, I thought it was in the back seat. No, it didn't say nothing about no back seat. I didn't hear nothing about a back seat. I saw the lean in the back seat, but I didn't hear nothing about no firearm being in the back seat. Oh my God. I need to woosah. I need to woosah. Should I read it again? Is it my reading that got y'all confused? Because your girl don't know how to read, right? So do you want me to read it again? Somebody put a 1 if you want me to read it again, and I'll read it really slow. Anybody wants me to read again? Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to read it again. I'll read it slow for y'all. It could be me. I'm not trying to come after you guys. Could be me. You said what? It's not you, Keisha. It could be me. Okay, let me go ahead on, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna read to the part where Officer Smith says what he says. Okay, all right. It says here that Officer Smith and Officer Musfire exited our vehicle and gave verbal commands to the individual to come towards us. As we approached the front of the GMC, one male fled on foot across Bishop Street onto the adjacent property. A foot pursuit was initiated, meaning they started to run after them, right? During which a male was seen clutching his front waistband. So he was clutching his front waistband. And as he ran, verbal commands was given to stop. During the chase, I observed a large black magazine fall from the suspect's waistband to the ground. Okay? The magazine appeared to contain live rounds. The suspect was also observed discarding a firearm in the woods line behind the rear building of the property before turning back around, at which point as he successfully detained. Okay. The firearm was recovered by Officer N. Smith and was identified as a black Glock 45, serial number CENC430. The male suspect was identified as Torrance Taylor. Examination of the firearm revealed alterations to the rear of the slide. The rear of the slide of the weapon. Suspected to be a fully automatic conversion. The magazine was unable to be recovered as a bystander was suspected to have recovered it before units were able to, and then that's it. A GCIC/ACIC check of the firearm showed no records. I mean, there's no body on that firearm. It says Mr. Taylor was found to have no prior felony conviction. Okay, y'all got it now? Y'all got it? They saw it drop from him, and he threw the gun, and they saw him throw it while they were running because he was holding his pants. He probably was holding his pants up, the pants on the ground, and they couldn't hold the pants. You can't run with your pants falling down, y'all. They got to learn to stop wearing the pants and wear some belts and stuff like that on your pants. That's how they got caught. Keisha said, caught red-handed with a switch. Yeah. Yeah, you got caught red-handed. Yep, got caught. But we got to see, it said in the beginning that an undercover police officer was there with them guys. And that's who told. It wasn't no Charleston White. Charleston White just trying to get clout off of that. It wasn't Charleston White, y'all. Somebody in the police department probably told Charleston White what happened. But it was a police officer that was out there with them that told. It says it right there. He probably didn't want to give his cover up, so he probably reached out to them to tell them instead of you know. So the police officer was right there. They have the undercover cops that's hanging with them like they part of homies. That's who told. And he couldn't be part of the capturing of those guys because he's already undercover. See, officer working as an undercover capacity at the large group. See, it was right there. Mm-hmm. He was with the large group, and there was a whole bunch of men standing around the red GMC. An undercover officer reported the males were actively in possession of marijuana, so he was right there with them. Mm-hmm. One of the homies. So it was not that dude. It was not Charleston White telling. It was the actual detective or the undercover police officer that was part of it. So that's the facts on this case. So it wasn't Charleston White. Because it would have said, somebody contact an anonymous individual contact. That's what it would have said. But it's an officer that was there. Okay? So, anything else you guys want to know? So that is I went and got the actual arrest report for you guys. You guys want to hear anything else? I'm hungry now. I gotta go find some food. Gotta go find some food. Somebody text me 111. They wanted me to read it again. I didn't even see this message. But anyway, guys, is there anything else you guys want me to go? Because you know me, I'm gonna go find some food because the young man has cooked me some dinner, and I'm gonna go chow down. And you guys, did y'all see my Route 22 I got approved for? And I got it as I got pool, y'all. This is my first time being pool. Oh my God, I am moving up in this world, y'all. Look, I should be the pool. Did y'all see that? It says I'm pool. I am pool. Ha! I'm big shot now. I'm pool. You know what pool means? I get to control the switch. I just need a good camera now so I could send it out to the other people so they could be like, I'll be the camera person. I just need a good camera. They got to come to me to ask me for the footage. Isn't that awesome? Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. First time ever, y'all. First time ever. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Should I do the happy dance? Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Oh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I gotta do my happy dance so y'all can see my weight loss. Hold on, y'all gotta do my happy dance so y'all can see the weight loss. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. I gotta be silly. I gotta be silly. So y'all can see the weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. I just gotta do some arm thing so I can firm up the arm. Misha, don't you laugh at me. Don't you laugh at me. Don't you laugh at me. When is the next? Alicia, you want me to do after dark? Okay, we're gonna do after dark. We can do it. Today's Friday night. Ooh, ooh. What man do you want me to put on the phone and I talk to? What man y'all want me to do that to? What man do y'all want me to do that? We can't talk about it right now. Jeremy said you come a long way. Thank you, Jeremy. How you know I come a long way? I've never seen you in here before. Who are you? Are you spying on me, Jeremy? Who are you? Yeah, look at these pretty earrings. Dallas's co-worker. She's one of my subscribers. Dallas is supposed to give me her name so I can shout her out. She makes these earrings, y'all, and it's very light, and this is like denim. It's kind of matching my stuff here. And also somebody sent me I gotta show my gifts that I got. I got another gift, a little. Let me show it to y'all because I have to show my gifts because I don't want people to think I'm not grateful for the gifts that I get. And I got to show my gratefulness. So what do you do? Why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about what I do? Been watching you, lady. You know what I want to talk about? Y'all heard about that case in Oklahoma? Did y'all hear about that case in Oklahoma? About that 11-year-old? Did y'all hear about that case? Did y'all hear about that case? Hold on a second. Did I hear about that case? Okay, let me show you. Let me show you that case. Hold on. Where what happened? Well, 11-year-old a couple of weeks ago had a baby at the house. 11, y'all. And they didn't know. So the family claimed they didn't know the girl was pregnant. The girl had not been to the hospital or anything like that. And they found out that the stepdad was 99% the daddy. The mama, the stepdad, the grandmother, all of them was arrested. Yep. Here it is. Hold on, y'all. Let's play this. Hold on. Here it is right here.
Not even the neighbors. They say things, but they don't know what was going on.
You just heard from the 11-year-old's grandmother, Michelle Justice, who we spoke to in an exclusive interview last week. She has just been placed under arrest for child neglect. This comes after it was found through a paternity test that the 11-year-old's stepfather was found to have a 99% DNA match to the baby she birthed.
I live next door. I have witnessed them go back and forth to their mama's house across the street. She has provided for their needs because they have no running water for the last 2 or 3 years.
Last week, I spoke with a neighbor who lives next to the house the 11-year-old and her siblings were removed from. She believes the entire family knew what was happening. The child's stepfather, Dustin Walker, and her mother, Cherie Walker, were also arrested last week on child neglect charges, according to an affidavit filed in Muskogee County. Authorities say the parents failed to provide medical care for their 11-year-old daughter, who was 36 weeks pregnant and delivered inside the home. Both parents claimed they didn't know she was pregnant. The child had not seen a doctor in over a year. The district attorney's office confirmed Justice faces 6 counts of child neglect. The affidavit states Justice lived across the street from her granddaughter, saw her almost daily, and was in regular contact, including the day she gave birth. It also states Justice cared for 5 other children in the same home, but failed to report the pregnancy.
I think Grandma thought she was doing what was right to help those kids. But what parent allows that?
In Muskogee, Isabel Flores, 2 News, Oklahoma.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that, right? Sad, isn't it? Sad, 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 sad. It's messed up. Hold on a second, y'all. I'm trying to do something. Trying to give y'all something else in regard to this case. Hold on a second. Let me just play this a little bit for you guys so y'all can see what's going on in this case. So here we go.
Inside their home. Listen to what the child's grandmother said to KJRH TV before we knew she was a suspect.
We didn't know this was happening. None of us.
What police say she didn't tell them about what happened, allegedly, inside of the home. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
There's Law and Crime stuff, okay?
If the allegations in this story are true, it is so hard to comprehend the amount of people who failed a young girl, just 11 years old, who allegedly gave birth inside her home. I can't be more clear about how hard it is to talk about this story and what the 2 people on your screen are accused of doing. It is unthinkable. And these are their mugshots, Dustin and Cherie Walker. Cherie is the 11-year-old's mom and Dustin is her stepdad. Now I'll get into what law enforcement is accusing Michelle Justice of now. Reportedly, the 11-year-old's grandmother. We'll talk about her in just a moment, but this story first came to light back on August 16th, and it all allegedly took place inside this home in Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's about an hour's drive from Tulsa. According to KWTW, who spoke to the district attorney prosecuting this case, an 11-year-old girl gave birth to a full-term baby inside this home on that day. The district attorney said the Walkers first told doctors that they were shocked that the 11-year-old was even pregnant. They said they had no idea, but it seems like law enforcement believes that that was a lie. The DA said the 11-year-old girl was, quote, petite, and for her to be full term and for nobody to notice just does not add up. We found old Facebook pages for the couple. Dustin is 34 years old and Cherie is 33. And many of their pictures show them holding young children. A neighbor to this couple told KJRH TV that 6 children in total lived in that house along with dogs and cats. And that neighbor said that this couple didn't have running water in their home for the last 2 or maybe 3 years. On the day the story came to light, a reporter with KJRH TV was in the neighborhood trying to gather information for a story. And she reported that there was a woman who appeared to be taking videos of her from across the street. She then approached that woman on her way out of the neighborhood. And this is what the woman told her.
We didn't know this was happening. None of us.
How do you think your granddaughter got pregnant?
She keeps telling us that it was the little 12-year-old.
Now, that woman you just saw speaking there was Michelle Justice. Now, this is her mugshot, according to law enforcement. And what you just heard her say to that reporter, according to law enforcement, was a lie. Justice was arrested and charged with 6 counts of child neglect. It is believed a total of 6 children lived in this house, including that 11-year-old girl who gave birth. According to KJRH, Justice is the 11-year-old girl's grandmother, and she lived near the house where that child reportedly gave birth. KFOR TV is reporting that Justice witnessed the birth, but she did not alert the authorities. Now, police were called when the 11-year-old and the newborn were brought to a hospital. Police say the child hadn't been to a doctor in more than a year, and she also wasn't enrolled in school, so it appears that she was kept out of sight. Now, originally, Dustin and Sherry Walker were charged with child neglect, but then a paternity test came back, and that showed Dustin Walker, the stepdad, is that newborn's biological father, according to law enforcement. Now, Dustin is now facing a charge of sexual abuse of a child under the age of 12. And in the wake of the result, Sherry was charged with enabling sexual abuse. It doesn't appear that Sherry has a criminal history, but we did find 2 previous cases that involved Dustin Walker. One from 2020, he was charged with firing a gun inside his home. That case appears to have ended in a fine, but records show the case was sent to collections. In 2023, he was charged with domestic assault and battery in the presence of a minor, and that case was dismissed. Both the Walkers are now being held on $100,000 bonds. The DA told KWTW that both parents could spend the rest of their lives in prison if they're convicted. It is unclear what Justice is being held on in terms of bond right now. As for that young girl, though, who allegedly gave birth inside a home that reportedly didn't have running water, the DA said she's traumatized. She said that to give birth inside that home with, again, no running water, without medical care, it is hard to imagine what she went through and what it would take to recover if she ever could recover, not just physically, but mentally. The girl had not seen a doctor, again, in more than a year, and she hadn't been in school for more than a year either. And those are places where either a teacher or a doctor, a medical professional, a guardian could have stepped in and helped this girl, but she was reportedly held out of sight. Do you ever notice how some habits just sneak into your day without you even realizing it? For a lot of people, that means reaching for something on autopilot because you're stressed or run down, even though it's perfect for when you're a free fume time there. What can you tell?
Sorry, yeah, I don't want to hear no commercial.
Tulsa. So thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know this is a very disturbing story from your part of the country. First off, just the town of Muskogee, where all of this is taking place. I know it's a little more than an hour's drive, it seems, from Tulsa. If you've ever been there, what can you tell us about that part of Oklahoma?
Well, I've been there. We've worked cases with the Muskogee Sheriff's Office, with the Muskogee PD, and I played. You know, my teams in baseball have played baseball there. It's a good community. I like it. I feel safe there. It's kind of like a small town feel, yet it's right off of a major interstate. So the turnpike runs right through Muskogee. But I have nothing but good things to say about Muskogee.
Yeah, just this story out of
Plus,
this
you have
community,
nothing but good
which,
things to say.
sadly, these type of cases can happen anywhere. But I mean, it's just, you read the headline and you do a double take because it's so hard to comprehend. But just in your experience and, as a member of law enforcement, you come across some really disturbing cases. I mean, how common is it to see something like this happen?
Unfortunately, it's not very common for us in law enforcement to come across this type of case. But when you come across it, then you realize it's happening more than it gets reported. And so that's what's disturbing to me. It's not so much that, there's incest in families anywhere, but we know that probably happens. In this case, brings a spotlight to it. But all the other cases that it doesn't have, we don't know about, don't get reported, and don't end up with a pregnant child, but we do end up with a child that grows to an adult with a lot of trauma. I just, it's sickening actually for us in law enforcement to even think that happens. So yes, it's not a good deal.
Yeah. And it's just, part of this as well for me is you have this child. There was, 5 other children apparently living in the home, but then you have this mom who's facing charges, the stepdad who's the biological father of this newborn, and then now another family figure, reportedly the grandmother, who has been arrested. All 3 seem to have told law enforcement lies from the very beginning, saying that they had no idea how any of this could happen. And the district attorney just seems to have said that just doesn't add up. When you're interviewing suspects in a case, what are some of the things you're looking for as you build your case, but also knowing whether or not the people like in this story are actually telling the truth?
Well, you look for, I just had this conversation with somebody before. Obviously you have to do a little investigation to know when they're lying. But in this, it doesn't seem like you really need any experience. You just know it doesn't add up. Whatever they're saying just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And, if you're saying this 11-year-old child is impregnated by a friend because they're curious or however, that does not make sense to me. And I would come across the table with somebody like that, not come across physically, but say, does that make sense to you? And try to get them to start reasoning that anything they're saying is not making any sense. It's not going to add up. And eventually the truth is going to come out. And unfortunately, I think the truth will come out in court for these folks, and rightfully so. How many other people know about this? It is disturbing that the family members all knew this was going on, and it was affecting not even the 11-year-old, but all the other kids that are around. They know what's happening.
Right. And it's just this grandmother as well. I just think of, you have 3 people of the same family who all decided to cover up the same crime. And it's just, to have the 3 people come together. Of course, allegedly at this point, paternity test comes back, confirms the stepfather is the biological father of this newborn. When you're building a case and you have the science on your side, what more do you need to have and to be able to get prosecutors so you make sure you get a conviction?
Well, us as investigators are always going to go after more than what you need, because you never know what kind of circumstances are going to reveal that whatever you get wasn't got legally, or you get it in court. The sad and the hard thing is going to be is interviewing the kids that are around it. That's the thing that has to happen. And that's the thing we don't want to have happen. So somebody has to sit down with the kids and say, hey, what's going on here? And then plus, you get the interview with the adults. They're going to come off of stories eventually. Somebody, the 99%, sure. That's the dad. We all know how the dad becomes the dad, and it's terrible to think of. And so the dad is God. It's when the other people come off of their story and say, yeah, they're all involved and they all have to suffer and should be held responsible.
Another part of this case as well is for the other children who are in the home, and the 3 adults who are facing charges right now, they all have child neglect charges that they're facing because of the conditions apparently that were going on inside this house. When you respond to a case, and because there's people, and I get it, in different parts of the country, like it's not everybody has, a lot of the things that some other people do have, like in terms of running water and all of that. But like, what is the bar where something actually becomes a case of neglect as opposed to just being born into an unfortunate situation?
Well, I don't know if any law enforcement ever made it to that house, but you can see from the news footage that you would question whether a child should be involved in that setting. And I know that us personally, as law enforcement, are obligated to go to the house and peek in the windows and do what you got to do to make sure those kids are okay. If you get a call that's saying there's young children, 11 and younger, living in that type of condition, and you don't see lights on, you don't see running water, we are kind of obligated morally and ethically to go in there. Whether they made contact at the house, I do not know, but looking at that and understanding what we know now, somebody has to be thinking, boy, I should have done something.
Definitely. And I know that they had a couple, I guess, run-ins with the law over the years, or at least the stepdad did. Nothing to the point of what he's now accused of, but you have to wonder about the red flags in any of these cases. When it comes to interviewing children, what are the skills? Because we know that there are people who are specially trained to be able to do that and to get information, but what do those skills actually look like compared to the conversations that you would have with the adults in a case like this?
Well, obviously, you have to be a little bit more soft. You have to be softer with the kids, obviously. But that comes from us being adults, having kids ourselves, and it would be the same type of response of parenting. How would you want your kid to be talked to? We can't come in there and start slamming things around and say, you're lying to me about this, you're lying about that. You've got to break down the kids' defense mechanism, basically, because they're living in heck. And, they're looking for somebody to latch onto. Maybe that's the case. I would think these kids here are looking for a savior. And so us as law enforcement, whether you bring a female or a grandfatherly type person in to chat with them, I've done interviews with that type of age, 10 and under, that witnessed murders in the back of a police car. And I tell you, it tears you up as an individual. But the techniques are what you would do, what your mom would do. And that's the one thing that we have to fall back on, is what would we want our kids to be, up against or talked to about. We don't have to really get into all the specifics. There are professionals that do that, and I'm sure that Oklahoma has those people that can do that. But initially, we just need to be nice to them, give them a lifeline, let them know there is better things out there. They're obviously going to be damaged for a long time. We just don't want to create that. We want to be the one they remember as being friendly.
Yeah, that's well put, because it's so hard to think about the trauma that all the children involved in this story are going to deal with, but then especially this 11-year-old child who gave birth, according to law enforcement. What type of resources are out there for a child in that situation? Because I imagine at 11 years old, you're not going to be able to take care of a newborn.
No, I'm sure that child is going to be up for, I don't know the ins and outs of our DHS. I know that we have a DHS. I know they work very hard. I know there's a lot of nonprofit organizations just probably calling in on this situation to get that child, those children, the help they need. Like I said, unfortunately, there's so many that run into the system, but I can't help to think that this is an all hands on deck type of case. Throughout the state of Oklahoma, there's going to be resources for these kids and the newborn. I bet you right now there's calls in to saying, we'll take that baby.
Without a doubt. And I think too, just kind of going back to the beginning, where it's one of these cases that come out and you just worry about where else it's happening behind closed doors. And this child, this 11-year-old, hadn't seen a doctor in more than a year. And that's really horrific in and of itself, knowing that to go through a pregnancy. But then at the same time, she also wasn't enrolled in school. So she was really kept behind closed doors, off the radar for a lot of people. In your experience in cases you've covered, what are some of the effective ways that these cases can be brought to light so it's not something that's just kept behind closed doors? I know that can be a really complicated question that everybody is trying to figure out when you see a story like this.
Yeah, I think it comes down to ethically, what can we do as law enforcement driving by and seeing a house that's dilapidated? It's like you said at the beginning of the interview. I mean, there are people that are unfortunate. That doesn't mean that they're ignorant. It just means that they have less than we do, or less than you think they should. But that's not the case here. With no running water, as explained by the neighbor, for 2 years. Boy, that is in itself enough to us to knock on the door. And if we don't get an answer, legally, we're kind of at odds here, but we're in the door. I mean, we have to as people. You know, cops be damned at that point. We're humans, and you go in and you got to save the kids. I mean, we got to save the children.
And I know a lot of this story, so much of it is just what we're hearing from law enforcement at this point, and then the Walkers, you know, will have their opportunity in court and an opportunity at defense. But I also just think for these detectives, I mean, especially if you're a parent and you come to the hospital and you realize the case you're dealing with, but then you have this job to do where you have to interrogate these people, try to get them to at least trust you, to give you some piece of information you could use in an investigation. And I know there's a lot of compartmentalizing that goes into being a member of law enforcement, but really what does it take to mentally kind of be able to stomach the anger that you might have for the person across the way and what they're accused of doing in a case like this one?
Well, I can only speak personally. Personally,
Sure.
I'm better than they are, a better human being. So I can't let what they did affect what I've got to do. I have a job laid out for me. And really that's during that particular moment, us in law enforcement that are interviewing, working the case, getting through it, we're professionals, and we're going to do what we got to do to make sure that those people are held responsible. So we can't come across the table and slap them like, you know, people want us to do. We can't violate their rights at all. Everything has to be done above board and transparent. After when we are alone, we can cry by ourselves. You know, I use that phrase a lot. I cry alone. The only way we can live through that, you know, there's cops out there now that would say, oh, that's a bunch of crap. That's the way I get through it.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody has their own way to do it, but what a tough job. Just a really sad story here. And we'll see if there's any more arrests. You know, at this point, 3 members of the same family, which is just shocking in and of itself. Dave Walker, retired homicide detective from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you for joining us on Law and Crime. We really.
Y'all, can y'all imagine that? All right. Well, okay, y'all, I'm about to end this live. I'm going to go get me some food. Got to go eat. I will see you guys later. All right. Peace out. Bye.
Thank you for watching the infamous Sylvia channel, where laughter and fun make up our panel. Together we build this digital spree. We appreciate you and our growing family. With mods by our side and chat flowing free in this online space. It's just you and me. We laugh until tears roll down like the rain. In this virtual world, you ease all my pains. We're family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mods and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. We cherish the moments, the highs and lows, from the latest gossip to stories untold. You're more than a viewer, you're part of the crew in this space of ours. It's all because of you. This digital world where emotion is shared, every post and reaction showing we care. The love is real in this virtual domain. With every sign, enjoys what we'll gain. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mods and keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mars and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. This digital world where emotion is shared, every post and reaction showing we care. The love is real in this virtual domain. With every sign, enjoys what we'll gain. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mars and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night.